Hey, Offensive. How's it going? You're here as early as I am. You enjoying your winter break? Wish I could be enjoying my break. Ever since I got super sick, I've been catching up on work. Like right today, I had a final insurance thing on the phone, fell in the water. Oh man, that sucks. Sorry about that. You got like an iPhone or something? Or Droid? I think you have an iPhone. I'm not sure though. I never had a thing where my phone got broken while I had it, you know, knock on wood, but I never had the screen crack on me. I never dropped it in water. The only time my phone has ever stopped working is because it just got too old. It just wouldn't like load anything anymore, you know? I don't know. Oh, Nexus 6. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Apple products in general, so it sucks because everyone I know uses Apple, so I can't use their chargers when my phone's about to die. Anyways, I'm working on a character that's kind of like it's a commission. I'm working on a commission today. This character is sort of like Rapunzel from Tangled, in that they're kind of like have this medieval room where they paint, kind of like a fantasy medieval setting. So I'm just thinking about how I'm going to composition that. So let's see. See if I can make it cool. Windows opposite from the door. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is make her kind of big here. Kind of have her painting and looking over her shoulder. That right there. Maybe in the background we can have like all her stuff. This will be different. Oh, thanks. I can't say for much of how it looks now. Hey, did you get to see Rogue One? And if so, what do you think of it? Or are you not going to see it? I don't know how much of a Star Wars fan you might be. Not yet. It's pretty cool. I really like the ending. I thought the beginning and the end were cool. I don't know, it's hard for me to like the middle of a movie. That's usually the hardest part, where I stay like interested in the characters, I guess. So keep roughing this out right here. Usually I don't like doing commissions at this point on stream. I feel too self-conscious because there's really like, it takes a lot of time to like make something out of nothing, you know? Like make something look cool out of nothing right away. But the main thing I gotta draw is this character painting. Make her kind of smaller so I can give it more detail. And see how that goes. Figure I'll get a commission done one of these days when I make a D&D character from scratch and play him a bit. Oh, that'd be nuts. That'd be cool. I wonder what kind of character you would make from scratch. I mean, even though I make my characters from scratch, I still kind of generally follow an archetype. Like, I like to look at what those particular races from the game are best at. Because I made a character where I had to fight the odds that came with my natural abilities, and I was like, man, I'll just go with whatever they can do best. Don't know that number. Funnily enough, I'm not really into playing magic type characters in video games, but in D&D it's kind of cool once you get used to it. But I still think the best class to play is the rogue. Oh yeah, it's a Kirby ringtone. What was that? It's like the first level. I think it's like what the whole game sounds like, to be honest. I can't remember much of what all the only Kirby music I can really remember is from Kirby Dream Lands 2, when you ride the different animals. Because then it just takes over the music from the whole level. That was cool, all the animals had their own cool music. I played a lot of Kirby's Dream Land growing up. I think that's like, I know Kirby more than, well, in terms of video games, like I know those first two Kirby games better than Mario stuff. Now that I have a Wii U, I should get another Kirby game. I always wanted to get into Kirby's Epic Yarn. Make these eyes kind of smaller. I prefer magic-based characters in general. Do you listen or watch any of the stuff I've suggested? Not yet offensive. But I'm really going to, and that's the best I can say. You can even ask Thoglum. I've been... I hate saying it because it sounds like such an excuse, but because I got sick, I got super left like behind on my schedule for commission work. So I haven't really been watching like anything lately, even my favorite Christmas movies, because they'll be too distracting. But I should listen to the podcast though, because that I could actually listen to and not get, you know, super distracted. I use my lunch breaks to correspond to emails late this whole week. But I'll totally understand if you're pissed. Flip her around. Hello, Safun. How's it going? Welcome to my early stream. I usually don't stream this early, but I'm going to be busy later. Hey, Jacob. Sounds like it was a big old nope, though. Stream keeps stopping loading for me. I missed the response. Yeah. I'm hoping that it'll get better. So, sorry for, like, you know, the lag as always. It is in the process of getting worked on. I have all these parts for the computer. I have a nice graphics card. I think I just have to get a processor. And I'm good to go, at least to start, you know? Man, her face looks weird. What is it?
Oh, for me?
I think these eyes are just too big or too high up. Let's make them a little smaller and give her more of a forehead. That looks a little better. Let's move this ear down. Anyways, you guys, I'm working on a commission right now. It's kind of like going to be a big one. So the rough sketch is going to be kind of ugly for a while. And what's good? I'm doing, what's good, Jacob, is I'm not as sick as I used to be. Which is super nice. I actually was sick for a while. I had to go to urgent care because I was still feeling pretty bad. And coughing up disgusting things, which I won't get into. And it turned out I developed acute bronchitis. So once I realized I wasn't dying, I was able to calm down and just focus on work. Don't you hate it when that happens? You get sick,
Oh,
and then you stay sick for a while, so you think, this looks like the end for me. I wonder how much it costs to write out a will. I was freaking out so much. My boyfriend just said, go to urgent care, at least it'll give you peace of mind, so. That's what I did. Hey, DFX ROM. Thanks for the follow, Safun. Also, I think somebody else followed, and I didn't see who the name was, but thank you for that. Yeah, I am streaming early. I had to, I have to, like, leave early for tonight for a Christmas party thing, so I'm trying to, like, get commission stuff done, and, you know, and still, like, you know, have enough time for everything else. Once I get this rough sketch done, I was going to jump on your commission, DFX ROM. I just have to merge everything into pretty much one layer and paint from there so that it doesn't slow down the stream so much. And I'm really sorry for your phone offensive. I need my phone. Like, I need my phone to, like, work. Like, when I'm not at my computer, if I get emails, I try to, like, respond to them once I get them. Because sometimes I'm in areas where, like, you know, I don't get service. Or the emails just don't send, you know? I guess, like, that also goes into, like, you know, I'm not getting the service I need. But I hope everyone's doing good for the holiday. I think I'm gonna have her holding her knee and then the other hand in the back holding the paintbrush. Anything to give her pose kind of a better silhouette. It's a little pin-uppy, but that's a long arm. Let's pull that back a bit. Don't be like those anime chicks that get sick with random unknown diseases. Oh, like Hyatt from Excel Saga? That's how it feels sometimes. Did you really get Drake on? Makes me sick of practicing. Oh, thanks. Sick of practicing what? Drawing? It's because I'm getting old, so any sickness is enough to like take me out. And it gets me more paranoid. My immune system isn't what it used to be. Hey, did anyone see Rogue One now that there's a couple more people in here? If you have seen it, no spoilers please, but did you like it or dislike it? Or do you plan on seeing it? Do you hate Star Wars? Is that what's going on here? So the thing is, I'm trying not to make her look like Tangled, but she has a lot of hair. So I'm gonna try to make the hair kind of bundled up a bit. Hello, Juan Crates. You saw Rogue One, was very disappointed. Aw, that sucks. For Rogue One, I thought the beginning and the end was interesting. The middle, I was kind of like, it was hard for me to pay attention to, not gonna lie. You know, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but that's how it was for me. Like, overall, I liked Force Awakens better, but I went into both those movies with no expectations at all, you know? I went into Force Awakens not expecting anything. I went into Rogue One not expecting anything, and I felt like Force Awakens had just better narrative flow, I guess? But, what I really liked about Rogue One was the space battles. Oh man, Juan Crates actually fell asleep during the film a couple times. I actually heard people snoring in the audience when I went to see it. And I didn't see it that late. I think I saw it like at around 11 p.m. That ain't that late. I mean, I saw Force Awakens around the same time, and so I thought that was actually indicative of, to the part I was referring to, some part near the middle was kind of like, could have been more exciting, I guess. I don't know how they could have made it more exciting, but just judging by past Star Wars movies, they had like a better flow to it. I love the space battles in Rogue One, though. Like, I like big spaceship battles when they're done right, you know? And I thought this one was like pretty good with it, but yeah. No spoilers, but movie had good stuff about it. Movie had stuff I thought they could have done better. Overall, I do think it's worth checking out, but yeah. Just got my graphic tablet a few days ago, but it's hard first time using it. Oh, I see, Sifun. It's hard to draw digitally when you're first getting into it. I'd say give it about 3 solid months of just drawing on it every day, and then you'll be like, at least getting used to it. Getting used to the pressure sensitivity is one thing. Getting used to, you know, how to correct mistakes as opposed to erasing it and redrawing it is another thing too. I mean, it took me a long time to get used to digital. I used to just always scan every drawing I did and color it digitally. You know, I'd be like, I don't think I'll ever draw digitally. But it ended up saving me a lot of time in the long run once I learned how to do it. Well, it does take a while though, not gonna lie. And my freaking scanner kept breaking on me. 3 months not that bad. 3 months is like part of a semester. Like, think of it this way, if you were going to take up, let's say you don't know how to paint, or you don't know how to use watercolors. If you took a class like that in, you know, college, 3-4 months is about a semester, so. Digital is another medium, that's the thing, you have to think about it. Yes, it's drawing, but just as if you're drawing with, like, you know, ink or drawing with charcoal, those things are a different medium, and they have different rules that come with it, you know? So I'd say a good 3 months is a realistic look at getting used to drawing digitally. And I'm not saying those whole 3 months are going to be just fumbling around in the dark, not knowing. Maybe the first couple weeks are going to be like that, but then the rest of those 3 months is just getting comfortable with it, getting used to it. So it's that's my estimate. Let me save this. Yeah, the tools of it too, not just the tablet part of it. The tablet part's just like a part of it, but if you're using like Photoshop or I don't know if you're gonna use Photoshop or Sai or Illustrator, there's other stuff too. You know, if you're going to use Clip Art Studio, which I think used to be Manga Studio. I have to make her look younger. Hi Michelle, thanks for stopping by the stream. I'm streaming a bit earlier than I normally do because I have a Christmas thing to go to later. So I want to make her look younger, so I'm going to make her forehead even bigger. Because right now she's supposed to look 16. I can definitely change parts of her body to make her look a little more underdeveloped, but it's her face that looks too mature for me. So best way to age a character is to give him a bigger forehead. And just kind of like, let me just make this a little more shrunk down and doll-like. I grabbed the wrong corner. Gonna mess with her head shape a bit. Go into liquefy. Because I just don't want to redraw a lot of stuff at this point if I don't have to, you know? So I'm just gonna like flatten the top of her head a bit. Kind of bring it in a little more. Maybe I'll like smudge her mouth like that. I'll probably won't detail the bottoms of her eyes too so much. Probably won't give her cat eyes too. I don't think you'd be pro Photoshop without a good 400 hours of, if not more. Yeah, especially. Like, I had a cartooning teacher that called, you know, all things regarding the art. It's kind of like pencil mileage, you know? It's just like, if you want to get good at it, you have to clock in so many miles with your pencil. You could say you can only clock in so many hours with, you know, with Photoshop or whatever it is you're doing. I'm not saying it to be discouraging. I mean, it's always like, you know, I wish somebody told me how long it was going to take. Or at least a ballpark estimate. Because when I was taking, when I was in college, they didn't have any digital art classes. Not really. Only Illustrator, nothing for Photoshop. So I took the Illustrator classes to learn typography and graphic design. And it wasn't stuff I wanted to learn, you know? I cannot stand Illustrator. I know what it's for. I know what it's good for. I hate it. So a lot of this was like, had to go with online resources and stuff. Gonna shrink her head even more. That's okay. I think she definitely looks a bit younger now. I wore out a couple nibs on the Wacom tablet. Still don't think I'm proficient. Yeah, you're gonna... This one's due to be changed soon. It's starting to get a little slight angle to it, so yeah. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, this playlist goes from like really relaxing music to kind of dancey music. This is one of the more relaxing ones. This character kind of has like a big flower ornament right here. Alright. I'm actually gonna make the whole thing bigger because while I was shrinking her head, it got disproportionate to the rest of her body. Get out of here, Photoshop. I'm not gonna cover up her neck. At first I was using hair to cover it up, like she's looking over, but it's almost like making her neck disappear. I'm just gonna make her look shorter. One from Final Fantasy VI? No, this is an original character. This is a commission I'm working on for a fellow patron. And they wanted their character kind of like she's... The way that they described it, she's kind of like Rapunzel from Tangled. You know, where she kind of has this medieval fantasy room that she also like paints all over in. Hardest thing for me in digital is proportions. I can guess what you're going to correct next. That's the best thing about digital, is it's, while you still have to fix proportions, it's so much easier to do than doing it traditionally. Like, you can just select something and just move it around, or expand it, or stretch it, or skew it, or warp it, you know? So let's see how it would be if I put this knee up and that knee down. Let's do that. So this foot would be up, and that one will be down. It also makes her look a little too childish like that. Let's bring her closer. Song's too sad. Song's a bit too fast. Oh, I like this song. It's kind of a weird one. Hey Bandit, how's it going? Welcome to my early stream. All you early birds. How do you guys manage it? How are you on here so early? Now the pose disc isn't as fun. Okay. Get out of your post shop. I'm just gonna make her shoulders a bit wider. I think that's what's throwing me off here. Maybe I won't have her push her butt out so far. Okay, I think I like this curve better, because it's now all kind of going like that. Although if I do that, it does put more of a tension thing. Let's see. Hey K-Care. Yeah, this is a commission. I'm just rough sketching it out right now. I gotta draw kind of like a medieval fantasy girl painting in her room, which counts as her studio. Kind of a bit like Tangled from Rapunzel. Rapunzel from Tangled. Just that kind of whimsical feeling, I think. Now, the trick is to not just straight up draw Tangled. But I want to like have like a lot of paint and stuff all over the walls too, besides the canvas she's working on, you know? This song is a bit too intense for this. This one too. Capanella's cool. Maybe I can throw her head back a bit. Nah, I'll keep it down for now. You guys all done with Christmas shopping? Anyone going into for some holiday parties coming up? Are you all done with the holidays? Do you guys hate Christmas? There are people that hate Christmas, and I don't blame them. I can never hate Christmas. I understand if you work retail, it's just like you just see the worst in humanity. So it might be hard to get into Christmas, but as depressed as I used to be, I never hated Christmas. It was nice. Even if I didn't get a single thing I wanted, I always liked Christmas. I like Christmas music too, maybe that's the reason why. Do you think I will be weird, awkward all my life, or I will grow out of it? How old are you, K-Care? Are you like 18? 22? 14? 36? Because I'm an artist and a designer. Oh, you're responding to him. Plus, it took me much longer, too. I'd say most people that say it will take you this long and you ask how do you know that, most likely they've done it themselves. You know? 25? I mean, you still have a lot of time to change. I mean, you don't have to like Christmas. Some people are just like that. If you feel like you're awkward, you could always change that about yourself if you want. I mean, you don't have to change unless you really want to. I'm pretty awkward. I don't... Ask my boyfriend. I was 29 when I finally found like someone really willing to like put up with me. I'm awkward. I don't like to go outside. I don't like to talk to people. I hate talking to you guys. No, I'm kidding. It's easier to talk to people when I don't have to look at them in the face. I'm very I wouldn't say I have anxiety, but I definitely just don't know what to say to people, to human beings when I meet them. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just I'm always caught in my own little world. But, it's, you know, you get used to it. You know, you have those bouts of, like, self-esteem where it's just like, I don't like myself, or I don't like what I'm doing, or no one's gonna like me, or, you know, when will, you know, something happen? If you really want something to happen, like, if you want, like, when am I gonna be cool? I always wished I could have been the cool kid. Never happened. And so I was just like, alright, well, no, I might not be a cool kid, but I have a lot of fun playing Final Fantasy. And that's kind of what I devoted a lot of my time to when I was younger. And it really it really affected how I developed as an adult. I'm very apprehensive when talking to people. But, yeah, I don't think you're going to be awkward your whole life. I mean, a lot changed between when I was 25 to now. I'm going to be 30 in like a couple weeks. A lot can change in 5 years. I would say 25 is when your adolescence is officially getting out of your system. Like, yeah, when you're 21, you're legally an adult, but I feel like being a teenager and those experiences with you, that carries on through to when you're technically an adult. And I feel like by the time you're 25 is when things start to settle in, like, you know, just for you. It's like, okay, I think I know how I'm going to react in pretty much almost any situation. It might be thrown in for a loop like most people are, but 25 is when you really start to think about what defines you as a person, I think, even subconsciously. Don't hate Christmas, done with shopping, and yes, going to parties. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Nice, Bandit. I think I'm done with Christmas shopping. I think I am. I'm gonna look over all my gifts that I got and do the checklist and maybe just get maybe 1 or 2 gift cards in case I forget somebody, so I have something on me. Well, like, oh, well, here's your gift, you know? Don't like Christmas? It's all good. I think I'm cool. In fact, I feel a lot like Yamcha. Can't talk to women I'm really attracted to. I think that's pretty common. I mean, I was never able to talk to guys I was attracted to. I mean, not in the way that I wished I did. And I would always play it cool like I didn't care. And I think in the end that kind of like screwed me out of like opportunities. I'd always be like, yeah, whatever. It's just whatever. And I could never tell when somebody liked me. I could never tell when somebody wanted to be my friend. I could never tell when somebody was like wanted to engage in a conversation other than common courtesy, you know? Like, I don't know. Yeah, but if you're cool with how your life's going, then yeah, you're cool, man. Unless you want to be awkward. Hey Carol, how's it going? Welcome to my early stream. My early stream because I was not ready for how much the holidays would affect my schedule. So I feel really crappy because I totally forgot I had like a holiday party thing going on tonight. So I'm trying to make up for that by starting my stream earlier today than usual. So I'm trying to catch up on all the commission stuff I gotta get started before I head out. I'm sorry for coughing in the mic, you guys. You want to be my friend? Thanks, Devious. Ng. Devious Ng. That makes me happy. If you join my Patreon for just $1 a month, you can be my friend. Nah, I'm kidding. I think it's easier to make friends the older you get, to be honest. If we're still talking about that topic. The early stream of Destiny. That's a really good way of pitching it, Carol. I should have used that for my title on my stream today. I should call you for my marketing. I feel like I can't even have friends because I'm too into doing art. Do you ever feel the same? Kind of. I feel like I had this discussion or something similar to it. Like, I know how that feels, where it's just like you lose friends because you're not really spending time with them because you'd rather be drawing. And hopefully you just find like, how can I say this? I would say peers would be friends who have your same interests in mind, you know? Like, or colleagues or something. Like, this is a person that I can not only hang out with, but I can work with in a sense. Like, I can draw with, I can What am I doing with these folds? They don't make sense. I'm just putting them there just to put them there. You could always draw yourself some friends. That's what I did when I was younger, when I didn't have any friends. That's how I got into drawing. Sadly. I would draw my favorite video game characters getting into shenanigans and me with them. Those were some lonely childhood days. But, I don't know. I felt like when I was younger I was having more fun drawing like my version of Superman and my version of Catwoman. Felt like I was having more fun than the other kids, so. I still feel that way to an extent. It's like if I don't like how something is drawn, I just draw my own version of it. You know, not to put anyone down, but it's like, man, I'd rather see this character as this, and I draw it, and I'm like, sweet. And I just made it, and that's that. And I see a lot of people doing that. Like, I'd rather see this character as this and that and that. I'm like, alright. Whatever makes you happy. It's when people demand the character looks like that. That's when I draw the line. I'm like, no. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work anyway. I don't have time for friends. I don't need friends. They just keep me down. I play video games. All my friends are people I play games with. Yeah. Yeah, even Stickman comics, you know? I drew a lot of Stickman comics. Yeah. And I'm not fan. I'm not gonna ban you on crates unless you start sending, you know, Trojan horses on here. Or Thoglum will ban you, yeah. Thoglum's my ban hammer when he's not too busy. The artist life is a lonely life, but it's still a pretty fulfilling life in its own. Especially if you're just naturally introverted, you know? I didn't start off introverted, though. I was a very talkative kid, and then I just kept saying the wrong things and just kept getting, like, pushed further and further away from the kids around me. So I'm like, I guess I'm just weird. And, you know, that made me sad when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I feel like I spent my time pretty wisely. I say that now, wait till I get a few drinks in me. And then I'll be like, I wasted my youth! My 20s were, I had them once and they're gone. I go through bouts like that too, but I think every human being is like, we all get like that. We all get manic depressive. We all get that. We all get those like, those mental breakdowns. I'm not trying to trivialize it. I'm just saying it's just, you know, we all cope with stress in our own way. And the older you get, the more you're not going to care about making friends. That's just how it was for me. I always say, draw your own friends, and I do mean it that way. You never know what kind of people will be attracted to the art you create. You could make friends by just simply being, you know, a good artist. Or just an artist that people like. Like, I don't know. There are some artists that I'm glad I met through their artwork, you know? And somehow they made me... Who are my favorite artists? It shifts. But I have a lot of constant favorites. I mean, I like Duster132, because I like that kind of sci-fi stuff. I like Feng Hua art. I'll show you guys some pictures. This is like a... I don't remember Kiko on D... The thing is, though, I don't remember names that well. I remember artwork better. Like, if I see a picture, I'll be like, oh, I know that guy. Like, the only time I remember names is if they're like, recently have been in, like, you know, I've talked about them, or I've recently faved something from them. Like, I like that artist. You know, I like a lot of Chinese artists lately. I went through liking a lot of Japanese artists, and then Korean artists, and then American artists, then Korean artists again, and then now I'm kind of getting into Chinese artists. I like Bayard Wu. I'm just posting just like recent art that I've faved, but these are people that I've been watching for a while. So, and then one more Chinese artist, and I'm trying to remember his name. It's like Feng Zhu. I like James Zapata. He's a cool guy. I mean, I like his art. There's this one French artist I like too, but I can't remember his name. It'll hit me later. But if you ever want to see the kind of art that I like, anybody? Here are my favorites. If you guys look through my favorites, you're gonna find a lot of sick art. Like, guaranteed. You will not find any sick art in my gallery, but you will find it in my faves. I'd like to think I have good taste in, you know, I don't just like the super painted stuff. I like, you know, just kind of like the, you know, drawn stuff too. I love concept art. I love it when people paint weapons. I love it when people like just do pixel art of a house. You know, I like 3D renders. I'm not limited to like just one style, you know, or one medium. You know, whatever looks cool, I'll like it. And whatever it is. What kind of artwork does Ruanji do? Warchime I'm a bit iffy about. Like, you can find cool stuff on there, but I don't really go on there as much lately. I find it very anti-establishment, but I think it's important to like both independent underground artists and, for lack of a better word, popular artists. I think it's good to know, you know, they had their 14-year-old girlfriend. I think you do, Carol, now that I read what you said. But when I used to go to 4chan, there was an attitude in there of just like no one really liked popular artists, and I can see why. They're just like, it's popular, mainstream, whatever. But I think there's a lot, you know, you don't have to like every single piece of art an artist does, and you don't have to like an artist, but I think it is good to know what exactly makes that artist so easy to access, you know? Because they go like, oh, well, they're just drawing safe art. You know, they're not trying to like make a statement with their art, and it's just like, does all art have to make a statement? Like, honestly? Like, does every artist create, is it always fueled by their emotions or political things or whatever? Or is it just whatever? I mean, I like both. I like art that's just fun, that could just take me away from a bad place in my mind. You know, it's just like, this is just a nice, fun thing. I don't have to stress about it. So when I saw that was becoming like a thing, I stopped going there. But I feel like that kind of attitude comes in waves. Ruanja DeviantArt.cam. Oh, I've seen this art. No, this is a sick artist. They kind of like this kind of, how do I say this? It's almost like oil painting, but kind of desaturated kind of colors. I mean, it's really good artwork. I mean, I don't think anyone would dislike this art, so that's cool. I've seen this stuff on like Twitter and stuff. Well, and in, you know, just like kind of like retweeted all over the place. People post it. I've definitely seen the Guild Wars Kite City piece a couple times. And now I know the guy's name. Or lady. Gonna flip her around. Don't mind me, just looking at references. A lot of my favorite artists on DeviantArt either got banned or they just took their business elsewhere, and they don't post there as often. Which is a shame. But if they're able to find success on other websites better than DeviantArt, I don't blame them. Like, for me, DeviantArt is still where I get most of my business. You know, sometimes I'll get a commission from Twitter or Instagram, but for the most part, people find me from my DeviantArt, you know? So I don't think I'd ever, like, leave that account hanging. Not if I can help it. I wish DeviantArt was more mobile friendly, I guess. I feel like that's why a lot of people don't really want to pick it up as often anymore. Okay. I have to change her hand position. For some reason I had it like she's holding her thing like this. Like when I do life drawing, I kind of hold my pen, you know, you hold your charcoal or something at an angle and you kind of just draw like that. You don't draw like this, you know, like with your fingers, you draw with your wrist like that. But I forgot she's supposed to be painting. So... let me just change how that looks. Yeah, the DeviantArt app's not that good. I've submitted art from it, especially when I was doing Inktober, and it's alright, but it's definitely not as efficient as you know, uploading your art onto Twitter or Instagram. I think the things that Twitter and Instagram have over DeviantArt is that it can apply a filter to it. And I'm guilty of using filters like crazy. I love using filters. You know, if you ever want to see my artwork originally without the freaking Instagram filters and stuff, it's always on my DeviantArt. But anything to make your art look better, why not? Or just pictures, you know, pictures of food. I know some people like are sick of the filters, but I'm just like, I'll always use these filters as long as it gives me the option to. I hope DeviantArt does something. I don't know, there's still a pretty big like community though. Like I know ArtStation's a pretty big one, but in terms of just like an art community that's just known for like art, even if it's just like a big, right, you know, some people go like, you use DeviantArt, isn't that full of like furry art and stuff? I'm like, yeah, sure, but there is a lot of good art on there, you know. So I always go and people it's just like, I don't like using DeviantArt, there's too much Sonic OCs or there's too much fan art. I'm like, yeah, but there's still a lot of like really good artists on there. You know, I'm not saying look at my art's good on there, but there's just a lot of like big artists on there. And I think you really are missing out on a lot. She's painting. I wonder what she's painting. Hey Nurgle. How's it going? Maybe she'll be painting a still life. I think the best part about drawing is like if you can convey a lot of information really quickly, it's so much less work down the line. I mean, I'm not saying I'm doing that now, but I am somewhat happy of how quickly I drew that flower and vase thing. So if I came back to work on this later, I'd be like, oh, okay, she's painting a thing of flowers, okay, and then I could just pick up on that and keep going. I hate when I'm trying to work on a detail that's hard to recognize when I come back to it later, you know? Oh, thanks, Nurgle. This is a commission for Aaron Chris. And we'll see if they come back. If Aaron Chris ever enters the stream, hopefully they'll like what I'm doing so far. Hey, Plague Blade. Thanks for coming to the chat. Or stream. Thank you. She looks like Aphrodite in Smite. Her concept art, well, the pictures that I have to go off this original character kind of do remind me of her. You know, she kind of has like kind of drapey clothes, long blonde, like bouncy hair. So, I like the art direction in Smite. I've never played Smite, but I like the art direction in it, I guess. I like mythology, so I like when I see, you know, gods like, you know... I like Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, all that stuff. I should play Smite. I have friends that are just like, don't play Smite. If I had a computer that could play Smite, I'd probably try it out before I cast too much judgment on it, but just by how it looks alone, I like how a lot of things look in it. Okay, let's put something up here to help hold the painting down. Yeah. Sorry, I got too caught up in the song. Alright, so this part of the rough sketch is okay. And we went from like that to that. Also, if you guys are doing digital, you see me flip around the image a lot, I would totally recommend doing that, you know? Flipping around the image a lot really helps keep you aware of your perspective, I guess, or proportions, I guess, especially when you're drawing the face. Like, there are some times where you draw something really cool, and if it's flipped around, it just looks like straight up wrong. Like, holy crap, how could the nose be so off-center or something, and you don't really notice it because you've been drawing it at this angle for so long. Or you're just used at drawing at a certain angle. So that's one of the things I like best about digital. It's easy to, because I used to, when I did traditional, I would hold up the paper to, like, you know, the light overhead to look at it from the other side to catch any errors like that. My first tablet was a tiny, it was a tiny bamboo. A long time ago, I had a bamboo tablet. I can't remember what kind it was. It wasn't the best. I mean, definitely you could draw with it, but I never used the hotkeys on it. And then the second tablet that I used for a while was my friend's. He had a tiny, like, Wacom tablet, like a tiny Intuos, like the smallest size you can imagine. And that one was actually better than the bamboo, at least for me, the way it felt and everything like that. And from then on, I'm kind of just stuck to Intuos, Wacom Intuos products when it comes to drawing this stuff. I know now that other stuff, like, you know, the Surface and like the iPad themselves, those things are getting like really good at like pen sensitivity and all that. And there might be like better options too, but I haven't been able to test them out myself, so I can't really say if that's like a good, you know, if that's like a good thing to work with. I think in terms of if you have like art for a hobby, those things definitely look really accessible, you know? I mean, they're expensive, but so are Wacom products, and they're pretty much only good for one thing, which is drawing. Like, I'm using a Cintiq Companion. As much as I love it, I can't really do anything else with it. I can't really play games on it. Yes, it's a tablet PC, but it's primarily used as an art tool. Like, I can't use it, like, I can't play games on it. You know, I can't, I mean, I guess I could, but it's not meant for that. Thanks for the follow, Rufus Low. I almost said Rufus Flow. But thank you. I usually do not stream at this time, but, yeah. It's nice to start a little earlier sometimes. That's a lot of folds. Were they all necessary? Probably not. Probably cut down on them later. I'm thinking about getting a drawing tablet, but I'm scared that it would be difficult to use layers and stuff to draw. I don't think it'll be difficult, Plague Blade. It might feel difficult at first, but it'll be different. I don't think it's hard. I think it's just something you have to get used to, you know? It's like if you've been drawing with pencil and paper your whole life, and then it's just like, okay, I think I want to pick up acrylic paint or oil paint or watercolors or charcoal or ink and brush and nib. Those things are all difficult at first. You know, you give it about I say you give something a good 3 months to decide if you like it or not, to get used to the medium, you know? Any medium is hard to get into. Like, when I was learning watercolors, I was like, alright, well, I know how to ink with, like, you know, a nib and a brush. Ink is kind of like, you know, watercolor, right? And it's not. They kind of have similar properties because it's super water-based for them, but they kind of have different, you know, rules for both. Especially when you're doing, like, you know, watercolor, you realize you have to do things in certain steps or you mess up your picture forever. But there's certain effects that those things can do that, you know, acrylics can't. Like when you put, like, you know, I love putting alcohol or salt on watercolor just to see what it does to it. And, you know, you can do stuff like that with acrylic and oil, but it's not really going to give it the same effect you want. And then if you have something like Photoshop, you could totally make those effects if you know how. And you don't need watercolor or that. And so people will go like, yeah, but it, you know, it doesn't exactly look like, you know, watercolor. I don't know, some people are pretty good at making digital look traditional. I'm not saying that's the goal of digital, I'm just saying if you really wanted to, if you really wanted to make like a charcoal look, you could totally do it on Photoshop. You know? It's just the knowledge of how to do it, how to make a brush that would be all charcoal-y, you know? I would say if you can, and I know this is and I know this isn't the same for everyone, but if there's a way you could borrow a tablet from someone, that would be the best way to get into digital. I was lucky enough where I had a friend who was like, I'll let you borrow my tablet, and if you like it, you can buy it. And I was super fortunate with that, because I was really on the fence. I was always like, I colored everything by mouse. I would scan my art and, you know, color everything by mouse, which is, you know, it's doable, but it's so tedious, you know, and it's not natural. I'm gonna give her a bun. Just to give like some like shape to her head more. Make her mouth a little bigger. She also kind of has like a veil going on. I wonder how I'm going to do this veil. Maybe I can make it a little smaller. Maybe I'll do it like that. That kind of seems like a better shape for it. Aw, you got an ad right now? That sucks, Nurgle. What is this he drawn? Using an iPad Pro, and the biggest problem is it can't handle large sizes. Oh, I see. That's a cute sketch you got going on. Is that like an original character or something like that? Or a fan art? Or just an anime girl? Cute eyes. I wish I could borrow, but no one I know has it. Oof. Tough break, Plague Blade. I would suggest getting, like, you know, a tablet that's not that big. I'm not saying get the cheapest tablet. I would definitely try to buy a new tablet, not a used one. Used tablets, even if they're like a good tablet, more of a chance that they're just gonna break on you. If you can try to find, you know, even a bamboo draw, it's not bad, you know? I mean, for just starting out, you don't need the Wacom Intuos to start drawing. You don't need, like, you can even start drawing on an, you know, like Juan Creates has an iPad Pro, stuff like that. I have a Galaxy Note 4, which is an old phone, but I draw on it, you know? I would say getting used to drawing stuff that isn't paper is the biggest hurdle for doing artwork. Once you get used to that, then you can get into messing around with layers and layer effects and blah blah blah, all that stuff, you know? Ooh, I kind of like the black veil better. I'm just kind of putting like a hair ornament where her veil's going to attach. Because the client said she could either have the veil or not, so I'm trying to see how it would look either way with it. If I can make it look cool, I'll give her the veil, but for me it doesn't make sense why she'd be wearing it if she's painting. But if it looks cool, I don't care if it's practical or not, I would put it in there. So if I can't make it work, it's out of there, but if I can, it'll look cool. This anime girl practice. Nice. I draw tons of anime girls just for practice. Have I seen the new Cintiq that replaces the companion? I actually haven't. I've heard of it. I haven't even seen the new Surface tablet PC, which I heard is super amazing. I've seen what people are doing with it, which makes me super excited about it, because I like the Surface compared... I don't like Apple products, and I like the Surface. I had a Surface something. I think I just had a Surface when they were out, and I liked it a lot. Can I draw on it without connecting it to a PC? Like when I'm sitting on the couch, does it have to be connected? What, the bamboo tablet? No, that has to be connected. If you want like a tablet all on its own, why don't you look into getting an iPad? You know, like iPad Pro, like it's multifunctional. So if the art thing on it doesn't work out, you can still use it for other things, like, you know, playing games, doing email, you know, stuff like that. iPad Pro is better than Surface in my opinion. I haven't tried either, so yeah. I would just use, for me personally, I would just use the Surface because I personally like Windows better than whatever it is Apple uses. Snow Leopard. Tasmanian Sabertooth. What is it that what is it Apple uses? It's always named after a cat, right? Persian Longhair. I don't know. If you use an iPad Pro, you can draw anywhere, but it's expensive, yeah. I like wearing a veil when I paint. Hey, Faya, how's it going? Me too. I put on lipstick for when I paint. I gotta look good for my tablet, otherwise it's just not gonna, you know, it's just not gonna work for me. Just gotta stare at my ugly mug this whole time. Sorry, I'm kinda like looking at the evolution here. See, the cool part about Photoshop is like making brushes. Anyone will tell you. I mean, I'll tell you, you know? All these things so that you don't have to do the extra work. Hell yeah. Apple Pencil is amazing. The Apple Pen or the Pineapple Pen? Mac OS Housecat is what I have. This art is hilarious and glorious at the same time. What is it, Nurgle? Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. If you could paint it good, doesn't matter what the subject matter is, you know? Sorry, I got caught up looking at something. No, I meant the drawing tablet like the one she's using. Oh, the one that I'm using, the Cintiq Companion, it's a tablet PC. It's you don't have to hook it up to a computer. Let's see. I'm gonna move my camera. Sorry. I mean, this is what it looks like. I don't know what it looks. There's a lag, but you know, it's its own thing. So it's not hooked up to that laptop over there. Sorry if that was all upside down and mirrored. I don't even know if that looked good. Again, super lag on my videos, so I don't know what's up. Okay. So I think she's okay for now. I kind of have to focus on drawing the room. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, cool. The Cintiq Companion, I think they're making a version 2 of the Companion now. So you could probably find at least the first version relatively cheaper, you know? I mean, I bought mine for like $2,000. I think you could probably find a good deal now. Especially for like the older model. So, yeah. How am I gonna do this? I need to find a good picture of a room. I think I'll make her a bit smaller so that we can focus on her room too, because she really wanted the room to be a big focus. And the only thing the client requested was that the door was perpendicular to the window. I think what I'm going to do is not draw the window, but you see the light coming off it in front of her, you know? Get out of here, Photoshop. Make this even smaller. I think I just won't show the floor. I'm just trying to map out where general things are going to be. This is gonna be your bed. Which tablet am I using? I'm using the Cintiq Companion. I know there's a second wave of them coming out. I think it's called just the Cintiq Companion 2, but I'm using like the first, the OG. Cintiq Companion OG. That's what I got. Again, you guys, when you're doing like you know, rough sketches, make them rough. I fall into the trap all the time. You'll see me start to try to detail something. Try your best not to do that. Try your best to just throw on as much information as you can on there before you start going all detail crazy. But I understand the struggle. Sometimes you just want to make it look good no matter what, especially when people are watching you. So. Oops. Gonna do something really quick. Gonna put a silhouette behind her so that when I'm drawing I'm not distracted by the lines clashing into each other. Excuse me. Anyone ask for a new tablet for Christmas? Anyone think they're actually gonna get one? I mean, that'd be cool. See, that's something I can never ask for. It's just too expensive. I'm like, I don't believe anyone would buy something like that for me.
Oh, for me?
Maybe she'll have like big, like, you know, things kind of draped around here. Because this person wanted it kind of reminiscent of my Diva wallpaper that I'm working on, which looks like this. So he kind of wanted like a medieval kind of cluttered room with, you know, a lot of stuff. Thanks for the follow, Plague Blade. By the way, hi Gecko CG. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. There's another drawing I want to share with this artist did. How amazing job, multiple characters in this one artwork. Yeah. How did I know it was going to be Warhammer? No, it's tough to draw crowds without making it look like too complicated, you know? Or just too cluttered. So it's always like nuts when like someone can actually pull it off. It's definitely something I still gotta work on myself. So the trick is, you know, when you look at it, a lot of them just aren't detailed. Maybe a few clustered near the middle where they want your eye to be drawn to. But yeah, it's really hard to tell how much detail you should allow on. Sorry, that was all zoomed up. So I have to make it sort of reminiscent of that with her artwork all over the place. So I'm just gonna like map out areas where artwork could be. Maybe some artwork's gonna have different paper sizes. Some are gonna be more square than others. Some are just gonna be, dangling around. I kind of want to make the room feel circular though. So, and I think I can do that with a bunch of series of squares, if you see the shape that they take. Just want big old boxes of stuff of her art supplies and all that. Because her room doubles as her studio. I kind of want her to have like this princess bed with like the netting right here. Oh, when you draw and you think it's good, then you're like, wait a minute, the body gets slimmer and slimmer as we go down. Aw. Well, if you're working digital, Darius, that's easy to fix. Hello, by the way. Welcome to my early stream. I started earlier, so I have to leave earlier. But welcome. I'm just slowly plugging away at this rough sketch. I'm almost done with this rough sketch, though. I just want to have enough on there for the client to see what it's going to be. Because what would suck is if I'm spending so much time on this rough sketch and they're like, nah, not the angle I want at all. Which has happened. So let's try to avoid that. I'm gonna put this round table behind her down here, almost like a coffee table, and put lots of paint cans and stuff on it. No, I'm just doodling right now. I did some just practice earlier today. Oh, I see. Well, it's no big deal then. That's what practice is for. You gotta make mistakes, If you don't make mistakes, you're never gonna learn from them. You need 12 failures for every success. That's like the average. So I wouldn't get too hung up about that. Make these little angel wings up here. Working with pen, then call it the Demons of Hell to fix your work so that it looks normal. Those guys will get anything done. Thought it was 100. 100 what? Oh, 100 failures for every success? I mean, yeah. That's true too. The point is, it's going to be more failures compared to successes. That's kind of how it is for most people. In anything. People are like, oh, why is this person so good at this game? Probably died a lot in that game before they got, better. Are you working with pencil? Even better. Erase it and fix it. Problem solved. Gonna be a lot of drapery in this picture, huh? I'm making a tangent here. Don't know how to fix it? Post a picture of it. You could always Google what you're looking for. Like, I literally looked up hand holding paintbrush when I had to look at really quickly what the shape of a hand holding a paintbrush looked like. And then I roughly drew what I saw. And, you know, I can fix it, but, like, the general, like, you know, notion is there. Give her a little chair here. I want to make her look softer, so hey, giving her an outer glow. Just draw so much that you don't care. Exactly. Faya's got like the right advice when it comes to this. I wouldn't get so worked up on one thing unless someone was paying you to draw that thing. And even then I would just start over. Just bring out a new piece of paper. And start drawing. Draw like your life depends on it. You know, some people go like, well, what do you do to stay motivated? Or what do you do to, like, you know, make you want to, like, you know, change how you draw? And it's just like, I draw to survive because it's my, when you work freelance and it's my only means of income, it's like, well, if I don't get it right, I ain't making that money. It is also too big. It's not that when I get done. It's not that I get done because I fix the drawing, but it's gonna be a while before I actually can draw the figure. Yeah, but that's how it's gonna be. All right, let's see here. I mean, yeah, you could definitely shrink the head. I would just say I would say the head shape actually isn't that bad. I would say the face is actually bigger, you know? If there's a way you could just, like, you know, if you're doing this digitally, you just cut out the shape of the face along with the side of, like, the face you've drawn and shrink that down, I think it would look not that bad, actually, you know? A lot of artists do it a lot. I mean, I used to do it too. When you draw a lot of emphasis on the face, that the face is kind of bigger than everything else. Like, her face is kind of big too. I might shrink it down later as we go along. But, yeah, I would say actually looking at the scalp of this character, it's not that out of proportion, but the face definitely could be shrunk down more. You could probably get away with it too by just shrinking, like, the jaw and the mouth more, and maybe spacing the eyes a bit apart. That's what I would do. But just draw it again. Have the picture in front of you that you have now, put it up there, and draw it again, knowing that I want to draw that, but just make this smaller. And it's tedious, but it's not that, you know, it's just something you gotta do. Otherwise, you'll never get used to drawing it correctly, you know? You gotta draw it correctly to advance forward. Or, you know, as close to correct as you can. Like, if you know you have a mistake on there, try the best you can to fix it, you know? I don't think anyone's asking for perfection, but, you know, when you have artists that are just like, well, you guys get the idea. It's like, we do. But if you could be as crystal clear with your picture, that's the best. You know, I think that's the biggest task an artist has to do. Like, make sense of a drawing. Like, if I could sell you that this girl is in her room painting with all these paintings around her, then I did my job. If I have to explain what's going on here, I'm not doing my job, you know? If she doesn't look human, you know? It's just like, thanks for the follow, Nedum Comics. Thank you so much. But you know, you all know the spiel. Trust me, I hate homework. I hate it. But it's necessary. Especially when it comes to art, you know? I hated my art homework all the time. And people are like, how could you hate homework for art? You love art. It's very different, you know? I always think that's how it is for Let's Players when they play games they hate, but they know they have to because people like that game. Like, let's just say you're someone like me who is super not into Nintendo, and let's say I had a Let's Play channel, and let's say the new Mario game came out and that was the big thing, and if I wanted to make the big bucks, make those sweet page views, I would have to play a game that I didn't really like. And even though, yes, I love video games, this is a game that I don't like, and I'm not having as much fun with it. I'm not relaxing. I'm spending more time analyzing it than just enjoying myself with it, you know? But you'll eventually get over that hurdle, you know? I just want everyone to not enjoy art anymore. That's why I give out this advice too. Art's not fun. Art's a lot of fun. Sorry, I kind of ramble onto weird tangents, don't I? I just draw what I want. I suck at focus study. Yeah, for me, studies kind of come along naturally. The art police will come for me if I don't make my quota. Thanks for the host, Faya. For me, when I want to get motivated, I pretend that somebody's threatening my life if I don't finish the drawing. And that's a good way of looking at it, Nurgle. Trust me, if you post artwork that's incorrect, someone's going to tell you. Sometimes I just want to post a drawing where I'm just like, you know what, I know this drawing's not good, but I just felt like drawing it as it is because I like how it is now. I understand it has problems, because there's always people that are just like, you know, why is the hands like that, or why is blah 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 blah, why is blah 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 blah. And sometimes I take that to heart. I'm like, man, why did I do this? Why didn't I just, you know, clean this up? Why didn't I make this more clear? Why didn't I do blah blah? Why didn't I make my art accessible? And sometimes I just don't care. I'm just like, it's because of what I felt like doing, you know? I think recently someone on DeviantArt was like questioning why I put a boob window on a sweater. And they're like, I understand, like, if they're wearing that at a club, you know, it's supposed to turn people on, but why would you be putting a boob window like that on a comfy sweater? Like, if she's just lounging around the house, what's the purpose of that? Like, is it supposed to turn the viewer on or something? And I'm just like, the point of the boob window was it's just something I wanted to draw, you know? It's just, sometimes I just want to draw something with no higher meaning than that, you know? There's a time and a place to just relax with art, and then there's a time where you have to really, really, you know, discipline yourself. And I feel like if you're trying to do studies, that's when you kind of have to focus in on, like, I'm studying. This isn't going to be for fun. This is for when I have to learn and absorb and all that non-fun stuff. That's why when people say I'm doing studies on art, I'm like, man, how do you do that? I don't even like doing that. And I do art for a living. Like, if I'll learn it when I have to draw it. And a lot of people are like, how could you do that? How could you draw something you don't know how to draw? I'm like, you'll learn how to draw it. Especially if it means, you know, getting a gig or something. The client doesn't have to know you don't know how to draw something, you know? If you're not good at faking it till you make it, you're gonna miss out on a lot of money. That's all I'm saying. If you die while arting, you die in real life. And then people come in and I tell them what I draw is bad and I'm not improving, even though I'm only sketching stuff. If it's a hobby, it's a hobby. That's why I'm not so hard on anybody. Like, if someone is trying to make money off their art and ask me real questions, like, what can I do to fix this? My first question would always be, do you really want to hear what I want to hear? You know, or do you want to just hear, like, minor things? And I think most people would just be like, I just want to know minor stuff. Like, they don't want to... People... Most people honestly don't want to hear how their art rates among other people, you know? Whether it be another artist or just a viewer or a friend. No one wants to hear their art doesn't work, you know? So it's hard. I don't like giving that advice because I know how that feels to be told this isn't enough. I know this is your best, but your best isn't enough. But, you know, usually that's the advice you get, you know, when you go take it up to people and they're like, you know, look, I know you have good instincts on this and that, but it's just, you know, you have to work on this and that. And you feel like you've come so far already, and I hate discouraging people. So that's another reason why I'm just like, I'll give like small edits. Like, look, if you really want to know how to edit something, do this and this will help it. It'll help it. But a full-on critique, whew. Most people aren't really prepared for that. Boo Boo knows is like one of those fundamental things. They dare question it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's always like, I don't know. Like, some people just don't like certain things, and I'm like, that's fine. I mean, I would never really question what an artist likes to draw. It's like, why did you decide to wear green today? Like, I know green is like more of like a spring color, and, you know, unless it's a dark green, it's not really meant for Christmas, but why would you wear it around this time? It's like, because it's something I wanted to do. I don't mind telling people my sketches are bad. Yeah. I mean, I always say that. I always say my sketches are bad, but then that makes some people mad. You know, like, how could you say these are bad? I'm like, because, you know, I know I'm not... They're sketches. I think that's my problem. I'm really safe with sketches. Like, I know if I just say it's a sketch, people are gonna be, well, it's not done yet, so I'm gonna hold off on my judgment. So I always have that weird apprehension of posting finished art. Even now. Like, if a client is super happy with it, I post it. If a client is kind of, I can't gauge their response, I'm so like, uh-oh. It's like, I don't know if I did good. I don't know if I should show this. If this client isn't over the moon about it, it's not good. Whereas some people are just like, no, this is good. And then that's it, you know? And some people are like, oh my god, oh, I love this. I love what you did with this. I like how you did that. This was so cool. This is that. And that I'm like, okay, cool. This person really dug it. I know for sure that at least someone out there likes it. And sometimes I'll do artwork for people, and I'm not expecting a buttload of praise. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just, it's hard for me to gauge people's response. Some people are, like, they're just not so expressive, you know? And to them, it's just like, no, this is good. Like, thanks. And then that's it. That's, like, the commission. I'm just like, damn, I put so much time into that. Like, is it really good? Are they just being polite? Does it suck? Are they just not telling me? Blah, blah, blah. And then I torture myself by self-doubt. But, you know, there is no wrong or right way to do these types of things, so. I'd say the best critique you can get is if you're doing commissions and the commissioner is just like, yeah, I don't like this. But it messes with the head motivation and makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I like artists to tear my art to shreds and screw sugar coating. How do I get good? Yeah, exactly, Faya. I mean, that's kind of how I am. I know what I need to improve, so I'd rather improve on that before getting a critique, because rather I hear a critique of something that would help, not something I was too lazy to fix. I see. I gotta hear it all. I don't know sometimes when I'm doing something bad, you know? Because sooner or later that's going to follow into my actual professional work, you know? Bad habits. I would say stopping bad habits in their tracks is tricky. Like, if an artist says, I notice you do this, and then you're just like, yeah, I know. It's just what I do, and it's just like, well, if you know it's something you gotta do, you gotta do it, you know? I'm not saying you gotta change your art, but that's just like how it is, like, for me, you know? Looks a tad bit better, but I guess I'll access draw and continue some more just drawings tomorrow soon. I'm gonna practice the cube thing. I do think it's looking better from what it was last time. Was he holding a lantern? Because I thought at first it was like a basketball, but then I saw like those, like all those ribbed lines. Maybe it's not a basketball. Cool haircut though. Now I'm looking too much. But yeah, you're doing good, Darius. The fact that you're drawing every day is like, no joke, super cool. A lot of artists don't get that, which is, a lot of aspiring artists don't get that, you know? Which is like, you have to be drawing every day. You have to be, to get better. They'll be like, what can I do to like get better? And the simplest advice is, you know, you just keep drawing, you know? You just draw every day and then you'll get better. I mean, definitely you can practice things. I would say get into a habit of drawing every day. Yes, if you practice, if you draw the wrong things every day, you're gonna get bad habits, but it's better to get into the habit of drawing every day than not at all. Because, you know, some people it's just like, yeah, I tried, you know, doing this, but, you know, I know, you know, some people just, how can I say this? Practice doesn't make perfect, practice makes permanence, right? So if you keep drawing hands the wrong way, it's going to be harder for you to draw them correctly, you know? If you keep going like, yeah, I know my hands suck, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't think your drawing is, like that bad. I'm saying it's better than what you gave me before it, you know? And the fact that it's getting better than what I saw before it, even a little bit, is still progress, you know? So, yeah. The habit of drawing every day, and the habit of drawing when you realize your drawing isn't going the way you want, redrawing it, that's a habit you gotta get into, you know? And make that a permanent thing, if you want to get, you know, super good at drawing. Like, for me, all I want is artwork to be clear and readable. And the only thing I really said about your piece, Darius, was that, you know, the head and chin could be smaller. And you did, you made it smaller. Not as smaller as I would have liked it, but you did make it smaller. And for me, it's just like, alright, it's looking like, you know, more proportioned. So don't take as what I'm saying as like, you're just being nice, you know? I am definitely being like, just pointing out the biggest things I could fix. But other than that, like, for your age, it's nothing really like, you know, that off about it. I'd say you're at the level that most people do start out at. So, which isn't a bad thing. Plus, I don't want to have a stream where I just tear into people's artwork. I don't think I have an authority to do that, you know? If someone asks for my advice, I'll give it. So, you know. But, yeah. Now I'm just talking in circles. Yeah, draw every day. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with drawing where you need to be at your age? Be confident even if you don't believe it. Wake up, say it's your best. Yeah. Confidence goes a long way. People that are confident about their art end up selling their art more than people that are unconfident about it, you know? Like, if you're at a convention, and let's say you don't have the best artwork, and someone next to you has good artwork, if you're like a personable person, people are probably more likely to buy from you. Like, you see it on Twitch all the time. I'm not putting down anyone. I'm saying I do see artists on here that are probably not the most technically skilled, probably not the most talented, but because they're nice people or funny people or just very personable, charismatic in a way, that you connect to them, they'll make more money than people that do draw art really well on Twitch alone, right? Maybe if you were to put their artwork out on like, you know, a comic and you were to compare it for like, you know, that kind of market, maybe you won't sell as well. But there are a lot of people that aren't the best artists, but because they're just cool people, they do grow and expand and you know, get better at it, you know, and their confidence shows. It's just like, you know, I would say a good example of that is Egoraptor. You know, everyone knows who Egoraptor is, right? Aaron Hansen. I wouldn't say he's the best artist, but he always had a confidence about it, especially when he was doing his, like, you know, it's a shame he doesn't do artwork so much now, but I know why. Artwork doesn't really pay the bills as much as, you know, what he does now. But he's not the best at what he does, but his art is like, it looks super confident, and he has this attitude of like, yeah, whatever, man. It's like, shit, I don't care. That's kind of confidence to just, you know, you're in your early 20s, that's perfectly fine, Darius. Like, don't worry about it. I'm almost 30. I didn't draw like this 10 years ago. Hell no. I don't know, do I have any artwork from like 10 years ago? Probably. I have like an old freaking... Let me go to my DeviantArt and pull up some old artwork. When was this? Close enough. Like, this is something I drew like a long time ago. A long time ago. What was it? It's 2016. This is 2004. So a little more than 10 years ago. I mean, her head's too big. Her ankles are like, you know, too big. Her hands are blobs. You know? It's been like 12 years since I drew that, you know? And it's got a lot of problems with it. And to me, your artwork isn't really that different from that. And it's just like, you know, there's a 10-year gap. If you draw as much as, you know, as I did, and you pay attention to just trying to correct things as you go, really pay attention as you go, you know, I wasn't really big on that. I was like, I'll fix it if I have to. And I think my art suffers because of that, you know? You know, I have, like, you know, colleagues who initially we all thought I was better than, but then they got better than me because they just took the art thing a lot more seriously than I did, especially starting out. So, yeah, I mean, you're fine. If you're in your early 20s, you have a lot of time to grow. You know, there isn't such a huge rush. You know, I'm going to be 30 soon, and I gotta hop to it. So, I would say, yeah, you have a lot of work to go. Are you the worst artist? No. Not by a long shot. It's for where you are in your age. I've seen that. I've lived that. So I don't see it as a bad thing. It's just like, alright, well, this is just, you know, this is what you gotta do. That knowledge is yours now. Good pep talk. It's like Prep for the Rapper, you gotta believe. But yeah, I don't know. I would say, really expand the art that you look at if you want to grow as an artist too. Like when I got into college, I took a lot of art history class, and art history actually changed the way I drew more than any other art class, like even more than life drawing, you know? Because art history, I would really get into how they would draw like cloth folds, you know? Like on those sculptures and like those Renaissance, you know, those old, like those marble statues. They would they would sculpt folds so insanely well that I was super drawn to that. I was drawn to drawing the body underneath this massive like cloth. And you know, experiences in life are just gonna help, you know, shape the way your art that you want it to be. So anime is definitely still my biggest crutch, though. I can't get away from that. I do if I try really hard, but naturally anime is just the thing I fall into. Sorry, I'm like trying to do something really quick with the lighting here. Get out of here. Let me wait for Photoshop to catch up. I will never stop mentioning my age. Thanks, Juan Crates. I don't read much or see any art recently. How come? I was thinking of studying some art, but I'm too lazy. I like your style better than anime. Well, thanks, Juan Creates. Either way, I was planning on stopping his stream for a while I study some art. I mean, there are artists that do that. It's like, it's time for me to go train in a river. And, you know, train under a waterfall, you know? It's like, I'm gonna, you know, take a break from everything and just... Don't know that number. I'm gonna wait for Photoshop to unfreeze itself. I can't really do anything right now.
Oh, for me?
I hope it fixes itself soon. There we go. Every time that happens, you guys, I get a heart attack. My heart drops every time, you know, it seems like it's gonna freeze on me. I'm like, no, when was the last time I saved? Thanks for the follow, Grakazord. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll do it for Christmas. Sometimes I do take a week where it's just like, I'm just gonna draw what I want. Because sometimes if you draw what you want, you really focus on getting it right too, you know? Doing stuff for our clients is always good, you know? It's like, I gotta get this right because someone paid for it, you know? And that's the right mindset you need. But sometimes when you're just drawing something for yourself and it's like, I have this idea I really want to convey. I really want to show what I think of like this subject, or I want to show this character I created. And it's really important to you personally that people appreciate this subject as much as you. I think that's when you really do shine in your artwork, you know? I feel like my best artwork is when I draw fan art for stuff I like. Sometimes for original stuff. I don't have enough self-confidence to ever draw my original art as good as like fan art, I think, so that's just me. Nice, Carol. All your sketchwork is super good. You are super ready to do fully finished artwork. I am promoting you to finish some of these sketches. Color them. You know, you got good expressions going on, you know? You know, I dig your designs. Cool stuff. I'm gonna save right now. Hey Sabrina, your internet sucks again? Well, thanks for making it out to my thing. I'll never stop. Yeah, the trick is I've been saying I'm almost 30 for the past 10 years, so... You'll never know. My source of art is manga and anime mostly. Haven't been reading or watching. Hey. I mean, I've been there too. Like, I drew a lot of anime, at least what I thought was anime growing up. But I read a lot of American comics too. I would definitely say extend your palette of what you absorb, even if it's just something like Disney movies, you know? Like, Disney movies are a huge inspiration to how I draw, you know? Not just Disney movies, but just animated movies in general, you know? But, yeah, I mean, is there anything you like? Like video games. Do you like video games? Do you like, you know, I would say introduce that to your artwork if you wanted to expand. I think video games is like kind of the style that I'm going for lately. Just because in my youth, I absorbed more time into video games than I did with, you know, comics or movies themselves, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of places where you could get art inspiration from that doesn't have to be specifically art, you know? I took a lot of my inspiration from fashion magazines. I was super into learning about fashion. It was just something I wanted to do. I take inspiration from food because I'm always hungry. I mean, I am, but sometimes you gotta think a little more abstractly, you know? Sometimes the shape of food or the color of food can be very inspiring, you know? Sometimes I'll look at like a bowl of ramen and I'm like, man, that looks like it's beautiful. It's bringing tears to my eyes, you know? But seriously, sometimes it's just like the colors of something can inspire me. Like I could look at a tree and I'll be like, this makes me think of a character design, you know? Because mostly my art, I like character designs. That's why I like fashion. That's why I like, you know, comics, where characters are the main focus, you know? Yeah, there's gorgeous background art, but usually the main focus is on the characters themselves, you know? And I'm like, I want to make cool characters, you know? I want to make something cool like that. So, you know. I kind of want to put like harsh lighting on her. Because like I want the light to be hitting her from the back. Yeah, marbled salmon on rice. Dude, sushi really does inspire me, no joke. The colors in that are like, so good. I don't ever save often. Carol, we were playing with fire. I was thinking of picking up something and painting, finishing, maybe opening commission. Yeah, do it, Carol. My goal is to open commissions before year's end. Well, you got a little more than 10 days to do that, Carol. Elder Scrolls, yeah, that's really good. You want to work on cool scenes? You mean like fighting scenes or emotional scenes, you know? I like drawing action. I wish I showed that more often. But I'm always like, my action scenes aren't good enough. And then I just have all this regret. Who the hell wants that, you know? You can draw whatever the hell you want as an artist. As long as you drew that. That's just the thing. People go like, I want to draw this, but I don't think anybody will like it. I think if you draw it well, people are going to like it, you know? People will like art for things they don't agree with, you know? It's like, well, I'm actually not on board with like this statement, but the art is so good. Sometimes it's just like, you know, I have to put those differences aside, you know? I'm not super into Evangelion, but I'll fave a lot of artwork from it if it's drawn really well, you know? I'm not a big fan of a lot of things that I fave, you know? I'm not a big fan of Adventure Time, but sometimes if it's drawn so well, I can't help it. It's like, well, this is just good artwork, you know? Like, and I feel like that's really cool, you know? Like, I'm not really into Nintendo, but if you could draw something from a Nintendo series really well, usually it's Zelda art, then I'm all over it. I'm like, man, this like this makes me want to get into this series. I feel like that's the best part of fan art. As a fan, if you could draw something to coax someone into checking out what you like, that is the ultimate compliment. I'm like, you know, I love Monster Hunter, and I used to draw Monster Hunter all the time. I should draw Monster Hunter again. I'm always like, you know, whatever. And some people go like, you know what, I never played Monster Hunter, I never heard of it, but look at this, it's so sick, I want to try it. Like, that means so much to me. Because me, as a person who loves fan art, that's what a fan art is. It's like, I'm trying to just like, look, I'm such a huge fan of this, I'm like, I want you guys to see what a fan I am of it. That's why I kind of have a problem with creating fan art for money. But in the end, I don't condemn it. I understand why it's like, you know, people do it. I mean, you know, it's just like, yeah, well, what's, you know, popular right now? And that's fine. But for me, I think just because I grew up with paint chat boards and stuff like that, and you would just create artwork for, just for the hell of it, you know? I was in a Powerpuff Girl paint chant because I loved Powerpuff Girls. I would just draw Powerpuff Girl versions of everything with these girls, and it was just something fun we did, you know? And it really affected me. Like, I would just be like, man, I hope I could just keep drawing, like, stuff I like with people I like. And, like, you know, I'm not really necessarily in that kind of group anymore, but I'm kind of still there, you know? I get to draw things that I like, and people dig it or not, you know? I like drawing macabre lately, Blame Junji Ito. Every time I read one of his books, I definitely I get into that, you know, that whole mentality too, Faya. I understand. Orange with white, sometimes it's so perfect, looks like glass. It really is visually pleasing. Yeah. Sushi is like a really good, like, you know, motivation for, like, you know, what do you call it? Inspiration? Because especially with like the way it's arranged, you want those colors to just like really like blend and mesh like really well with each other, like really good compositions. You know, if you look at when people post food porn, the placement of food, the composition of the shapes of food compared to, like, you know, the colors that come with it, you know, like, that's really, it's really like amazing sometimes. Sometimes it's just like something as simple as showing, like, you know, a porterhouse steak with a side of vegetables and, like, you know, a glass of wine. If it's arranged in the perfect way, it's inspiring and it'll stick with you. It's like, that just looks really good. And I'm not a cook, you know. Well, I am a cook. I learned how to cook, but I'm not a cook. But if you see a delicious pastry, usually from like an Asian bakery or something, where they really try to make it look cute. Have you ever sold prints of your work? Is it worth it? Odds make it good money? It depends, Juan creates. Certain conventions I do really good at, you know? Like WonderCon's one I do really good at. That's like where it's kind of like a mini Comic-Con. And like at that con, I definitely break even and then some. Like usually at a con, if you break even, it's like, alright, well, I didn't lose money, but I didn't really make money, but I didn't lose money. But a lot of people got my artwork, and, you know, usually you get emails saying, hey, I want this done, and all that stuff like that. You know, the commission stuff, that's fine. But sometimes I go to conventions where I make a lot of money. And, you know, and then a lot of people, you know, I hand out business cards, you know, I talk about, you know, my DeviantArt, now I talk about my Twitch, you know. Sometimes you network, you know. I would say the experience of sitting around other artists sometimes is really good. Sometimes you sit around people who are really cool, and sometimes you sit around people who are just super lame. Not gonna say who. But sometimes that experience, like one of my best friends I ever met who works for DC Comics, I just happened to meet him because he was my neighbor for a con. And he turned out to be the chillest guy in the world, and he's awesome. And it's such like a long-lasting friendship. Like that's how I make some of my art friends. Like I meet them from a con, you know? And because if you're going to be spending 4 days or so sitting next to this person, you're going to learn something about them, you know, if they're open to it. And, you know, that's a really cool thing, you know? There have been conventions where I don't make money, and that always sucks. I hate leaving a convention in the red, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes it does work out, and those days are awesome. So, yeah. So, short answer is yes, and in the long run, it is worth it. I've had good experiences and bad experiences, but overall, it's just something I like to do. I've been going to conventions as an attendee for ever since I was in high school, and it's just the con culture is what I really do like, you know? I like seeing people in cosplay. I like seeing people get excited over, oh look, there's a Deadpool thing, or oh look, there's like, you know, a Mass Effect. It's so cool. I like that. I like the nerd culture. So I don't mind sacrificing some of my time and money to be part of that culture, you know? Definitely only do it if you have the money. Don't ever plan on making that money back. There are certain conventions where I could be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I've been going there a couple years. I normally make between whatever, like, 700 to 1,000. Like, that's like, to me that should be an average con. That's what it should be. Working, leaving with between 7 to 1,000 in your pocket. That should be the average. Breaking even is okay for a first time at a con, but if you're going to a con continuously and you're not making enough money back, I wouldn't recommend it. So, does it cost a lot to set up a booth at a con? For the first time, yes, Juan creates. Because while a table could cost like $200, let me flip this whole image actually, I have to check it out. When you're starting off, it's going to be expensive because you're buying everything for the first time. You're not only are you buying your table, you have to buy a tablecloth, you have to buy, a register for your money. You don't want to just keep shoving money into your wallet, it just looks bad. Someone just gives you money, you're just like, sweet, and you just put the money into your wallet, it's kind of just like, alright, you gotta get that. You gotta get, things to display your art, which most people don't realize how much money and time that does take putting together a display for your art. Alright? So looking at a table and all that stuff I just mentioned already, usually you're already up like maybe 300, 400, 350 I would say. Now printing your art is where it takes money. Where I print my art, you're usually going to drop $200 on art to print it, where I print it, right? So now the table has gone from like just being $200 to like about 500 to 600 depending on how much I'm printing. Add into that how much it costs to drive there, to park there, and to eat there. You're probably going to be spending about $700 per convention. For your first convention, if you're printing as much as I am. The good thing about prints is when you print them all up, if you sell out of them, great, If you don't sell out of them, that's stock for the next convention, that's stock for the store envy, and you could just keep making money off it possibly from that, It's great when you go in with too much product and then you leave with it all sold out, because what sucks is when I was first selling my Diva print, the game hadn't come out yet. Overwatch did not come out yet, so I thought, well, I made a Tracer print and then I made a Diva print, And so I only printed half as many Diva prints as I did Tracer, and Tracer sold out on the first day. I had no idea she was going to sell out that much, and I was like, shit. So the whole convention, I was losing money because I did not print enough of her, because I didn't gauge how successful she would have been as a print. I thought since people didn't know exactly who she was, people have seen Tracer, they just announced Diva, I thought it wasn't going to do well, but that was me totally just not understanding what was going to be. Thanks for the follow, Moon Kid. What was going to be marketable, I guess. You watch a lot of my YouTube vids? Oh, thanks, Juan Creates. See, the thing is, when I post them, there's a song in here that gets them flagged and taken down, and I'm trying to find it. By the way, hi Talden. This is a commission for Erin Chris of their original character, kind of like in a Rapunzel Tangled type of setting. So, yeah. But yeah. Is my stream gone for everybody? Please let me know. If my stream did drop, let me know. And I will try to fix it. I'm definitely gonna have to like make all this like better. Whoops. Sorry, I'm like trying to get this in. By the way, everybody, this has been a stream that I like, it's up? Okay, good. Gonna lurk and eat dinner. Nice, Talbin. Yeah, sometimes my internet kind of drops in and out like that. Sorry about that, you guys. I am putting together that computer, so hopefully when that computer is all done, we won't have that issue so much anymore. I'm gonna put her down a bit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep her like that. Sometimes you like to just put a huge layer just to like separate things, and then I just mess with like the the fill. I want it to feel like she kind of has like a high window. Soften that up a bit. I'm thinking more serious about setting up a con booth. Yeah, I definitely say go for it. If you have the money, go for it, you know? Because it is invaluable experience, I do think. The first time you do it, it's going to be really expensive, but they get a little less expensive, especially when, when you do have, like, stock left over from the last con, you know? But yeah, if you sell out, that's great, because, my prints, they cost, like, 15 bucks each. Yeah. So, I kind of make, I don't have any on me right here, but I print my stuff like at Costco. It could be my internet wand creates, I mean, yeah. This guy's been doing a lot of stuff, this guy has a lot of stuff going on in cons. Yeah, check him out. Is that your Tapastic, Darius? Ah, see? You already got your webcomic going on. Man, I gotta update my Tapastic so bad. Nice. I'll check it out once the stream's done. By the way, buffer hype. Sorry. Should I restart? I'm gonna type it. Let me know if I should. It's good for now. Alright. I offered. Whoops. Sometimes adding dust particles looks cool. My problem is I go overboard with them sometimes. I think this is good enough for a rough sketch. Now she's really blending in with the darkness. Aw, thanks, Rip Rad. Still living for you, Darius? Well, shoot. I hope it works out. But actually, guys, I started this stream early. I started it at like 2:30 because I have to leave here by 5:30, so I have a half hour left. So let me just flip this back around. But thanks you guys for having a, you know, maybe I should just restart. Or refresh your browser? I'll restart it. Sorry, I just feel bad whenever like it's not working, so I'll do that. Be right back.